Her concern was that when people could hear her thoughts, her children would be removed from her care.
Now, and keep your voice up, please.
Yes.
Did she indicate, and I quote, that she had bad and intrusive thoughts, and she didn't even feel that they were like mine, telling me I should kill myself, my brain is damaged, you're never going to get better?
Yes.
And did that type of intrusive thought or persecutory thought continue for a period of time?
Yes. So it got worse.
Did it get so bad that she ended up doing something?
Yes, that's correct.
What did she do?
She called the suicide hotline.
And do you know when that was, sir?
That was December 4th, 2022.
Did she receive any help from the suicide hotline?
She did not.
Why is that?
They told her she did not meet the standard of care because she did not have a plan.
Did she call the suicide hotline again, if you're aware?
Yes, she did.
Do you know when that was? Was that in December?
Yes, I believe that was perhaps the following week around the 15th, but I'm not positive about that.
Did she receive help on the second call that she called the suicide hotline? So can you tell this jury, sir, in your opinion, to a reasonable degree of medical certainty based upon all of what you have reviewed, all of what we have talked about, all of what you have considered, as to whether or not at the time of this incident resulting in the killing of these 3 little kids that she was suffering from a mental disease or defect, such as that she lost substantial capacity to appreciate the wrongfulness of her act, or, in the disjunctive, was unable to conform her conduct to the requirements of the law?
Yes.
Tell the jury what your opinion is, please.
My opinion is that she did have indeed a mental disease or a defect. That's a legal construct, not a DSM-5 one, but she had bipolar disorder with postpartum psychoses. In addition, she was unable to conform her behaviors to the rule of law, and she had no appreciation for the wrongfulness of her act.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, Commonwealth.
For the Commonwealth, as an independent examiner, but on that day, you're testifying for the Commonwealth or that DA's office.
And you haven't done that work in closely a decade, fair to say?
No, that's not true.
Well, pre-pandemic, correct?
That's not true.
So when was the last time you testified for the Commonwealth, meaning the prosecution, in an SDP proceeding?
So I was assigned a case through Suffolk County, the Sexual Dangerousness Unit, by ADA, Kelly Ryan, Kelly, and I did that evaluation on July 2nd, 2026.
And have you testified at a probable cause hearing for that?
No, I wrote a report which was in lieu of testifying.
Where you opined that somebody was sexually dangerous?
Yes.
Okay. Fair to say, though, the majority of your work here in Massachusetts over the last few years is contracted with the Committee for Public Counsel Services, correct?
Yes.
And for the fiscal year of 2024, you were paid by CPCS in the open checkbook for approximately $340,000 worth of time and work.
That's about right. We get paid a fixed rate. It's a government rate that's assigned to all examiners.
And for the fiscal year of 2025, it was approximately $300,000 that you were paid through the Committee of Public Counsel Services.
That sounds about right.
You also indicated yesterday.
But I did not read every word on every page. They do have a tendency to hang together and are replicative as well.
Were you aware that on May 26, 2023, that the defendant was observed by staff in a note stating that she was visible along the unit hallways, self-propelling her wheelchair with her one-to-one staff, that she had a visit with her mother who brought dinner for her, they ate and played games during the visit? Are you aware of that?
On May 26th.
May 26th of 2023.
2023. So 3 years ago and a few months. I don't know that. I don't remember.
That would have been approximately 4 months after the incident and on the date of Callan's first birthday, right?
Yes, but you asked if I remember that event, and I don't.
You don't, or you do?
I don't remember that she was seen with her mother on that day who brought food, and she was seen using a wheelchair to travel down the hallway at the hospital. I don't.
At the doctor, there was a recommendation made for an over-the-counter medication, right?
Yes.
And the defendant was able to process that information, take it back with her, and then later, not immediately after the visit, but later in the day, search for where to get that medication, right?
Psychosis doesn't lower your intellectual functioning, so you can do all those things. So
Well,
that's
that
correct.
wasn't my question. My question was, did she do those things?
Yes, so that's correct.
Okay. And would you've talked a lot about that a person can operate as normally as they can, but fair to say, if you're in a psychotic state, that person themselves has a significant amount of distress, right?
Yes.
And that in order to mask those symptoms, it requires an enormous amount of control. Does it not?
It depends on the level and the extremism of the psychotic processing. So some people will hear voices that are nominal, they whisper. Some people hear voices that are yelling and screaming. So it's on a range, it's a continuum. So the more upsetting, more powerful, demanding the voice, the more difficult it might be to resist it and do other things. The less, the easier it is.
In all of the time between September of 2022 and January 23rd of 2023, at any point in which the defendant heard these voices about harming herself, she didn't act on them then, did she?
That's correct, yes. She did not act on those. She sought help instead.
One moment, please.
You went to speak with her, correct?
I did, yes.
Do you care for her?
I do.
And is that a violation of the canon of ethics for professionals like you if you care for your patient?
Not at all. Within the ethical standards, it's also noted to do an appropriate and meaningful forensic evaluation. It's strongly suggested you develop empathy and rapport. And when you have those two psychological constructs, you get more information from the respondent. You do not cherry pick the information. You include warts and all in your report. That avoids confirmatory bias, and you avoid confirmatory bias by also not looking at conclusions that other examiners come up with when they render their opinions, and you do your evaluations independent of anyone else. You do it by yourself.
How many times did you see her?
At the time that my report was
No, right about now.
60 times.
How many hours have you put in sitting with Lindsay, either in the hospital or evaluating?
More than that, roughly.
And you have all of that information that you have brought here today to yesterday to testify to this jury. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are you confirmed bias? Are you not telling the truth just to help Lindsay out, or is this your opinion based upon your review of the records, your interview of her, whether or not you care for her or not?
Overruled. Overruled.
I am telling the truth. She
Yeah. You can re-ask that question. That answer will be stricken.
So you can't tell someone you're telling the truth, and okay, that's up to the jury to decide. Your opinion is based upon all of the times that you met with Lindsay, right?
Yes.
All of the documents that you've reviewed, all of this, all the exhibits, everything you're aware of, right?
Yes, as well as collateral contacts.
And in the course of your treatment and evaluation of her, one of the things the DA asked you about is the
Como's objection, that may be admitted.
185.
Thank you very much.
All right. Commonwealth?
Very briefly, please. Doctor, how many defendants that you've evaluated for criminal responsibility have you spent 35 hours evaluating?
One
Is that
one other person.
And how many other defendants have you evaluated that you've testified that you care deeply for them?
I would say one other one.
And how many other defendants have you given press conferences about?
None.
And how many other defendants that you've evaluated have you gone back every day into the lockup to check on?
I was sequestered on all those other trials, so I was not even allowed in the court.
Now, you were asked about confirmation bias and given a hypothetical about so if somebody was asked to examine a gun, right? You recall that
Yes,
line
I
of
do.
questioning?
Yes.
You were hired by the defense in this case, were you not?
Yes.
And as far as your conversations with the defendant about her children, you're also aware that she continually refers to this situation as my tragedy, does she not?
That moniker of my tragedy, that's just one of the things that she'll say.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And what's the reason that, with the understanding of the court permission, that you go to the lockup and see her during this trial?
I go to the
Sustained.
Well, while she's in Tewksbury, counsel kept referring to SID, SI. What is SI?
SI is suicide intention or suicide ideation.
In Tewksbury, excuse me, in Tewksbury, has there been a concern of suicidal ideation?
Yes.
And what, as a result of that, SI, as counsel kept repeating to you through the records, is her status at Tewksbury?
She's on a constant one-to-one to ensure that Ms. Clancy doesn't take her own life.
And that is somewhat similar to the reference in Brigham and Women's Hospital when you were talking with her that there was a nurse that was sitting in the corner of the room at all times. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Inferentially was able to hear any conversation that you had with Lindsay, right?
I asked those people to leave.
Thank you.
Counsel, could I see just one?
So finally, I will ask you again, what, to your understanding, is the purpose of you during this trial going back, as the counsel asked you about, to the lockup with Lindsay?
To ensure that Ms. Clancy is stable and competent to stand trial.
Any concerns as far as her SI?
She's in good hands at the moment, but there's always a concern that sits directly below the surface.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Attorney Buckingham, please.
Dr. Zeizel, in 3 years, she's never made an attempt to harm herself, has she? Other than January 24th of 2023.
No.
Thank you.
All right. Anything further?
Questions, Judge? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Now, you indicated that you, because of your interest, were watching the proceedings on this case
Yes.
on what, YouTube or something? Or,
Yeah,
or
whatever.
TV?
You can, yeah.
And you had the occasion to hear the cross-examination of Patrick Clancy by the district attorney, is that
Yes.
right?
You mean the
And-
direct?
I'm sorry?
The direct of Patrick
Sorry,
Clancy.
you're right. It's been a long week. Okay, direct examination. And the focus was on the fact that when Lindsay went into the hospital, it was on New Year's Eve. Is that correct?
Right.
And that she was there for that holiday weekend, and then I
Right.
think the following Monday was a holiday?
Yes.
Okay. And you heard the direct examination of the district attorney asking about McLean being number one hospital in the country, McLean having all of these services available to the inmates that are in there, treating them, offering all these fantastic programs on the holiday weekends and the holidays, as opposed to what Patrick had testified to. Did you see that?
We re-asked that question. I think I understand, but
Okay, when you were watching on the television,
yeah,
you saw, or the computer, you saw the questioning of the district attorney of
Right.
Patrick Clancy.
yep,
You heard Patrick Clancy make reference to the fact that his wife admitted herself into the
Right.
STU
Yep.
on holiday weekend, New Year's.
yes,
Was there all that weekend,
right,
into a holiday.
right,
And the district attorney then questioning Patrick
right,
inquired as to whether he was aware that it was
Yes.
the best hospital in the country, that there were many doctors and nurses and staff available and programs available, and Lindsay wasn't interested in any of that, right?
yes, that's what I took from it.
Now, in your 8 years, however many years of experience that
Mm-hmm.
you had, is that what your understanding was in that unit?
No, that's not what I was understanding, no.
So tell the judge what your understanding was from your experience, hands-on,
Mm-hmm.
day after day, working in the STU for all of those years.
Right.
But you also were a supervisor of the STU at one time.
I actually wasn't. I became a social worker.
And was that Monday through Friday?
Yes, I did cover weekends on occasion. Social workers, you're not required to, but it's kind of highly encouraged. So, every once in a while, I would cover a weekend as a social worker.
And you're aware that the records that came from McLean Hospital indicate that during the time period of January 1st to January 15th of 2023, that the social worker role was a day position that was Monday through Friday.
Yeah,
And that on January 1st, which was a Sunday, there was no social worker there.
yeah, I saw that.
And on January 2nd, which would have been the observed holiday for
Right.
New Year's, there was no social worker.
But I didn't see any mentions that this was a 5-star facility. And then also, the concern is, or the factor is, the effectiveness of less severe sanctions. And I would find that the records that have been brought in pursuant to the subpoena in the last couple of days from McLean's talks about the staffing levels on holidays and not on holidays. So if there's a question of whether or not there was a quote-unquote skeleton crew that was on for those, at least the first 2 days of this time that Ms. Clancy was there, that's reflected in the records. There also, in the records here, is a list of whatever programs were offered and also when they were offered. So if there's a question of less programs being offered on a holiday than during the week, those are contained in the records. And so I'm going to deny the defendant's motion to call this witness, but I am going to allow the defendant, if the defendant wishes, to submit those McLean's records specifically regarding the staffing and the programs that are available, not just on that weekend, but for the week, and I think there's records in there for the week before.
Including the 18 journalists.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for your patience, and I'm going to ask you for some more patience. All right. Due to an unforeseen circumstance, we're going to excuse you until tomorrow morning. All right. This is not something we saw coming, but you're not to speculate about what it is. You're not to hold it against either side. It's just something that we have to deal with. All right. And so I'm going to excuse you till tomorrow morning. I'm going to remind you, as I have every night for the last number of weeks, don't do any research about this case. Don't talk about it. Don't read anything. Don't watch anything about this case or similar cases. And with that, we'll bring you back here. We will deal what we have to deal with, and we'll get right back on track. We are still well within the timeline that I gave you regarding this case.